Happy New Year, all. Thank you so much for making time to be here today. And I'm happy to see a few more people. I didn't know what to expect. Sometimes, first of the year, people are still kind of getting back in the swing of things. So it's good to be with you all here for our East Side rep meeting to discuss impact of homelessness in the East Side neighborhood of Santa Barbara. I'm Landon Rank with SB Act. I think most of us know each other already. We'll go ahead and just jump right in with a couple general announcements. So just a few dates coming up. I'll touch on this in the next slide, but the point in time count, people experiencing homelessness will be on the 22nd, very early in the morning. Um, and then that Friday will be our next East Side Wrap meeting. So just normal schedule. But then the following about 10 days later, we'll have an in-person East Side Wrap meeting on Monday, the 3rd of February at 5:30 p.m. I'm still scouting an East Side location where we can host that meeting. We'll go from 5:30 to 6:30, but last time we were able to do it hybrid, so that's the hope to do it this way as well, so that some people could join on Zoom if they need to. Um, but yeah, it's just nice to be able to meet in person and actually kind of have human to human conversations about all these issues. So I really encourage you to join us if you're available. And I will have an RSVP link soon as we have the location settled. And then that means that we will not have an East Side Rep meeting that Friday since we'll be meeting on Monday instead. And then as far as the point in time count goes, this is just as everybody knows, it's our annual count of those experiencing homelessness. This is something the federal government requires of every county. And so we're going to be doing ours in Santa Barbara County on the 22nd, and it's happening throughout the whole county simultaneously. We'll have volunteers all the way from Santa Maria to Carpinteria. And so we need hundreds of volunteers that morning. It is an early morning before work. So help us spread the word. Tell all your friends who are morning people, and maybe even some of them who are not. But the last day to sign up to volunteer will be a week from today, next Friday. And we do still need more volunteers on the east side. So we want to make sure we get an accurate count of everybody on the east side. This data will be used, it's partly used so that we can get funding from the federal and state government for homelessness, but it also just helps our county to get a sense of where people are so we can better direct all of our services and resources. So really encourage you to come out if you're able to. And if not, help spread the word. I'll put the flyer in the chat window in a minute. All right. Any questions about any of those things? All right, seeing none. We like to start these meetings by hearing from the community members first, just to hear about any concerns or questions from the neighborhood. And then after we hear from community members, then we'll go to all the different outreach providers to just hear updates from, I guess, the last couple of weeks since we haven't met since December. Um, and then Natasha, when you talk about an email confirmation, are you referring to like if someone RSVPs?
Yeah, can you just send out an email confirmation for those events and where to and location and all of that? That'd be
Yes,
awesome. Thank you,
will
Lynn.
do. No, thank you. I appreciate you helping to spread the word. All right, so let's go ahead and open it up for our community members. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everybody. Just quickly, I ran into Barbara at City Council on Tuesday, so it prompted me to join in today as to give a little update of the issues that we had around Santa Barbara Junior High, the Boys and Girls Club, intersection of Quarantina and De La Guerra Street. And I think that all the resources and manpower that was put in place to help relocate those folks that were sleeping in their cars or in campers and what have you, they found other locations where they could live, and so that's had a huge impact on the neighborhood in terms of health and safety. We're not seeing the trash. We're not seeing as much illicit activity that we saw before. There is still one gentleman there who is decided to park five or six of his own personal vehicles in and around the area, and PD is aware of it. The city is aware of it. It's a cat and mouse game with this individual. But overall, I just came on just to thank everybody for putting their resources to make it a safer pathway for our kids coming to the club, as well as those students traversing from the high school and the junior high.
Thank you. That's a great update, Mark. We really appreciate that. And good to have just some follow-up. You all remember that the New Beginnings team has gotten this huge state grant in 2024 to help with a lot of the large vehicular encampments throughout our county and with a big focus on the city of Santa Barbara. So that's a lot of those efforts have been going into sites like these. So yeah, there will be continued efforts.
Yeah, and we promised with the neighborhood and with all of the resources and personnel that we probably have a follow-up meeting maybe sometime after March, just to kind of circle back around with everybody and give the kudos to all the professionals and everybody who got involved because the initial meeting and Barbara was there. It's always challenging when you first engage residents around issues that impact them. It can be a bitch and moan session. You know, it could be a little hard on those professionals that get frustrated. But once those resources came through, we definitely saw an immediate impact. And so the process works. You just got to be patient.
And just a couple of notes to follow up with Mark. One is we're still looking at parking regulations both around that neighborhood as well as along South Quarantina and Calle Cesar Chavez. Some of the folks that were parked around De La Guerra and the junior high have migrated down to South Quarantina. So resources are following them if they were enrolled with New Beginnings for that ongoing support. So that's been beneficial. We're also working with the County of Santa Barbara and the state to elevate South Quarantina as a priority region for that grant, so that we can, again, continue to engage with folks and get them on the pathway to housing. So just an update there too, that we're looking at ongoing measures to be able to sustain positive impacts that we've had and then to continue to address negative impacts that we're having in other neighborhoods.
Thank you, Barbara, for that update, because I was going to ask about that. You know, we still see quite a bit on Quarantina, and we're seeing some more parked on Jan and Ollie as well. So
Thank you, Susie. Anything else from the community?
Yeah, can I jump in?
Yeah, go for it, Natasha.
So, yeah, I was going to say, Susie, it's starting to look like what it used to look like before those signs went in about no overnight parking and no oversized vehicles. I had an interesting incident yesterday. A gal who kind of wanders around the neighborhood, talks to herself, had a bunch of giant garbage bags, and she put them in my driveway. I was trying to get out. I asked her to move them. And by the end of the day, when I got back, they were still there. I had to go out and do some more things. I came back, they were still there. And I went and took a look, and it was literally garbage. And it was so much that it couldn't fit in my bin. And when I was trying to push it into my bin, the glass came out. I cut myself. I had to, and I'm like, oh my God, this is all garbage, which means it's going to sit here till, Wednesday when Marburg comes, and I don't even know if they'll pick it up. So I asked CVS if they would take it. So this gal, and I'm just kind of speculating, is going around picking up garbage bags, giant garbage bags, as I could see the trail along the sidewalk. I don't know if she's eating from it. I don't know what she's doing with it. But it ended up at the bottom of, my driveway. So she obviously needs help. She's very like I think her hair was very short. And I remember her voice, I think it was longer, but I might be mistaken. So she needs help. And Landon, I sent you a picture. It was not a great picture from the other day, a couple of weeks ago, where a guy had decided to defecate at the end of my driveway on the CVS side by the wall, which happens often, but this was the first time I actually got a picture of the person doing it. And one of the neighbors came by and said he was frequently arrested. He was always drunk. He goes to Milpas Liquor and so on. So I'm thinking you guys might know who these people are.
Thank you, Natasha. And Andrew, is there anything that can be done with that personal belongings that was trash? But it seems like Natasha is like trying to bridge using your personal receptacles versus, having our team come in, discard them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
it was trash. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't to my view, what I
We
saw.
characterize it as personal belongings until we have a better idea of what it is, if it's on her person and if she was carrying it.
Okay,
That's usually what we,
I'm just saying, I think,
yeah.
and I might be wrong, but it looks
It,
like she pulled bags out of
a
trash.
good percentage of it could be that. Yeah.
Yeah, Natasha, we can definitely, from our perspective, we can come investigate something like that. Generally, if it is just trash, then we'll treat it as an illegal dumping matter. A lot of times I will just grab those bags for you and I can dispose of that stuff at the annex yard. So I'd encourage just, if you can, a request into SB Connect with that, would be the quickest way to get us dispatched to it. Um, I can come out and quickly handle it if it's something I can handle. If it's a larger job, I would assign it to our contractor, and maybe there would be a 1 day delay. But it's definitely something that we can handle for you, and don't feel the burden to put it in your own receptacle or take it
Yeah.
to CVS. That's what we're here for. So um, in terms of the
And
individual.
Natasha, the team is really responsive. So I know SB Connect messages can be lost a little bit, but this team responds within, a few hours in the day. And like Andrew says, just for bigger jobs, it might take one more day.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Landon, you put the link in the chat. That's what I need to use. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll work
Okay.
on your just like web browser on your computer.
Yeah, it can work on your web browser. There's also the app if you want to have it on your phone. It's very quick. I think you can file one of these requests in probably under a minute, just you don't have to input all your information just as long as we have a location, an idea of what it is. But a picture does always help if you can give us that. Makes it easier for us to track everything down. But yeah, definitely don't feel the need to get your hands dirty in a case like this. It's definitely what we're here for.
Thank you. I didn't realize it, and I'm pretty sure I have the app. I just keep forgetting I have it and keep forgetting to use it. I super appreciate that.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's good.
And that's what I do when you see somebody like this who you're saying she looks like she needs support. Feel free to text those pictures to us too at the hotline number that I put in the chat, because a lot of times if it's somebody on the east side, our outreach team is going to be aware of who they are, and we can coordinate and collaborate with the other outreach teams too, to make sure one of us is getting out there to, like, in that moment, go to her.
Yeah,
And
if I had a little bit more time, I could have taken pictures. I was already running late.
yeah, I'm just saying, if you do, or even like a text of like, there's a person at this location, like whatever, so that we can try to help support with that as well and get them the support that they need.
All right, will do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. Anything else from the community? All right. Let's go to our outreach teams. Right now, I'm only seeing Path with us today of our different. Oh, CityNet as well. Let's go to Path first, though.
I'm actually gonna let Oscar take the lead here. So it's happy
So
now to be taking the lead.
uh, just saying what's been going on with the Path Outreach. Yeah. So our staff member Shauna, she's been doing outreach, rescue mission on Wednesdays, the other days at Path, Access Point, as well as going into our areas and checking in with people. I've done a few too as well. So I've gone around, checked in with people. A few of them chose not to engage, so I left it alone. But it's just being aware of where they're at and then kind of going back again and having that interaction. But so far we haven't had any issues with anything. Just doing outreach within our area.
And we're also doing, so we're, that team is constantly doing the outreach to check in with people, trying to get, people engaged and connected to services. We're also going out for our next neighborhood business walk on the 22nd. So Susie will be coming to you. And we'll just be, going around the east side here and checking in with businesses and seeing, what's going on, how we can better support sharing information, that kind of thing. And then just kind of like an exciting heads up coming soon. We also are going to be putting some additional beds back online, and some of those, so we're going to be opening specifically 3 additional beds specific for outreach teams to be able to refer people into PATH. So we've been full for a long time, and there are challenges in just getting somebody inside someplace. So we're hoping that this will help help us be able to more easily engage with folks if we have a place we can actually bring them inside to. So we'll let you know as we get that. We're working through the details of that and hoping within the next month or so that we'll be able to come back to this group and let you know that we have them open and we're bringing people into them.
It's my understanding as well that the rescue mission is testing out, they're kind of piloting having some open hours during the daytime as well. So we may have another space for people to just spend the day and potentially connect with a case manager during daytime hours in the east side. So I'll try and get the details on that and follow up. Let's go to the CityNet team.
Morning, everybody. My partner is actually doing a transport right now, so it's just me today. As far as the east side goes, we haven't had any real encounters or ran into any real issues over this holiday period. The East Beach itself has, we haven't seen many out on East Beach or in Chase Palm Park there. Just a few. We did go yesterday. We were out at Los Patmos, several camps that we were dealing with out there behind the restaurants. We did make an appointment to see one individual who we've had encounters with in the past. And this is going to be a possible intake into our program. We're meeting with this individual at noon tomorrow. And then most of our other stuff has actually been with some issues on State Street. Some individuals, one individual in particular has been causing some problems with several of the businesses on State Street. And we actually tried to engage with this individual yesterday, and he told us how much he hated us and then pointed his finger at us like he was going to shoot us. But we just smiled and reminded him that we're there and available when he's ready for help. And then the other individual on State Street that we deal with quite a bit, that's usually there by De La Guerra Plaza. The other day, he was getting kicked out of De La Guerra Plaza because the Rangers were there, and apparently he had been drinking, and somehow it ended up being our fault that he was in trouble. So we've had a couple discouraging situations, but overall, over the holiday, I was surprised. We didn't get a whole lot of requests for services or anything like that. So we were mostly out just doing outreach in various areas, Pershing Park, particularly the parking lot at Pershing Park. Going through there, there's 2 or 3 individuals that are there. One of them is one of our clients, and he has been challenging. And We do drive along Cassique there, going by path, and have noticed just the improvement about the number of people that are hanging out around path. There doesn't seem to be many at all. In fact, we were happy to see one of our clients actually got into path, and I'll talk more about that when we get to talking about clients. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. I do want to say the other thing too is the number of individuals unhoused on State Street has diminished significantly. Uh, we are only seeing four, maybe five during I mean, we even tried walking State Street at different times of day to see if we're seeing more, but it's generally just four or five. And a lot of them are the same people that aren't really interested in services, but we continue to engage because hopefully um, someday they will decide, I need some help. Um, and we'll be able to help them. And Liz, I'm really glad to hear some more beds are being opened up for outreach because I was telling Landon one day, one of our biggest frustrations is when we get calls for people that are in need of assistance and even willing to go to shelter, there's just no place to put them. And um, that is difficult. I mean, we can go out and talk to them and offer them some snacks and that kind of stuff, but to say, hey, we can put you in a place is something that's just not available right now. Um, but I'm sure that as a team working with the individuals we work with, um, we'll be moving towards some solutions to some of these issues. Um, and for one, I just need to work on my patience with it because when you're looking at these people in the eyes and saying, we're sorry, we just haven't got any place to put you, and just try to suggest a safe place for them to go where they can stay and be left alone at night is about the best we can do right now. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. That's pretty much my report.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I think we're all having to practice patience in this process. I appreciate you sharing that.
And for our,
Um,
really engaged community members, which is everyone on the east side on this call, we are at a standstill in terms of housing opportunities and shelter opportunities. Our shelters are pretty full with some exception here and there that we can make and facilitate referrals. We had Veracruz Village, La Posada, a Buena Tierra out in Goleta, like all of these housing units that were specific to people currently experiencing homelessness. And we've been able to, have and gain a lot of traction in the last year. I think right now the soonest development that may be open by the end of the year is the Quality Inn for placement. So the teams are working hard managing homelessness day to day, but it's definitely, like John said, it's been really challenging to not have that immediate opportunity and referral for them.
and then can we go to Sergeant Beltran for your update, and then also just in response to Natasha's question about how is the smoking ban enforced?
Yeah, so to give a couple quick updates to start out, and then I'll get to that, is kind of a bummer but positive news is for those of you that knew Officer Van Eyck, who's on our CAT unit, he's actually rotating off the unit this week, but that spot won't be vacant. We are getting a new officer. Her name is Michelle Royals. I've worked with her a bunch in the past. She's a little on the newer side, but she's very motivated, very helpful, really solid worker. So I think that'll be really positive for her. Just a bummer to lose Van Eyck. And then as far as the things that go on in that region, I think it's already been discussed. Barbara also already talked about it. It's no secret one of the biggest challenges that we're dealing with is the quarantina and all the vehicles and everything else. Obviously, our abilities are kind of limited with that, but we're still monitoring it and trying to do what we can, I guess, on our side for the enforcement things. And I don't really have any other updates as far as anything else goes, other than we're down there, we're monitoring. If any new issues come up, please please be in touch with me, and then I'll do what I can to try to get our unit and any other resources that I can down there. Um, and then to get to the smoking thing, for Natasha is all I can tell you is that when we see it happen, we do enforce it. At least I can speak for my team. I think quite a few patrol officers do as well. I can't speak for all of them because on a priority level, I'll be honest, the smoking laws are very low on the priority. That doesn't mean that we disregard them. It's just if we have something else going on, that's not exactly one of the main priorities. But for our team, that is our job. That's what we do. We go out and we enforce even the smaller scale things. So when we see it happen, we address it. And to the example that you gave, I don't know that it makes you feel any better, but even for us, we kind of get the same reaction from people when we try to enforce it. It just depends. But we do enforce it. We cite people for it. Unfortunately, a lot of not a lot, but some of the unhoused people that are out there just don't really care. They don't really have anywhere else to smoke unless they go on private property, so they just disregard it and kind of they roll the dice and hope that they don't run into us and have it be enforced. 1 second, then not. Yeah, I can't speak. I can't really speak on behalf of the ambassadors. I don't know too much about what their abilities or roles are. I can only really speak on us. That's unfortunate if they do ignore it. They don't have the ability to cite for it.
Right.
Obviously, they can let people know and kind of like and educate them on the laws, but at the end of the day, they would have to contact us to deal with it on an enforcement side because they don't have the ability to cite. Only police officers would be able to cite for that. But yeah, I can only speak on that and just say that it's not something that we completely disregard. It's just something that we have to deal with as we see as we see it happen.
Yeah, we'll, be fully transparent that we're dealing with smoking issues outside of the Faro Center too. So here we are. Natasha, you're completely spot on. It's one of those things that the Faro Center staff, PD, engage, discourage. I always say we're a smoke-free city. The citation capabilities aren't there for the ambassadors, but I am going to be talking to the downtown ambassador team to engage more with folks to let them know, that it's not in accordance with our local ordinances. But yeah, I feel like there's an uptick too, Landon. I mean, it just feels like there's, more folks that are using that advice than we've seen before. So we are trying to get a better handle on it. And if we have any positive strategies, we'll share those with Path as well.
Yeah, thank you, Natasha. I saw that. And one of the things I think everyone's aware of is just that a lot of people use it as a way to cope with other, addictions and avoid turning to those other addictions. So in that sense, it is a more positive way that people can cope, but we recognize that it ends up impacting all of our neighborhoods too. So we kind of have to balance that, and we don't have great solutions yet, but definitely like at the Faro Center, and I'm sure or with our other partners as well. If we see someone, we say something to them. So all right, and then can we go finally to Andrew?
Thanks, Landon. Um, Sergeant Beltran, I don't know if I can let Van Eyck go. I think I'm still gonna text him
I
and
said the
call
same
him.
thing. Yeah.
I'm like, sorry.
I
But
will
yeah,
say this: he's going to be working the same hours. He just won't be on our unit. So
oh,
he'll still
nice
be
to
available.
know. Very good to know. Yeah, that's sad to lose him, but excited to meet the new member of the team. From code enforcement's perspective, we were a bit short-staffed over the holiday closure, so we're all kind of catching our bearings here and getting updated on how things have been. But overall, it looked like things have been pretty manageable. Like has been noted, Cacique has been in great shape, which was such a high priority area for so long. We continue to work along Ninos and the Dwight Murphy Field area, just dealing with things as they pop up, abandoned waste, a variety of things. Um, I also noticed it looks like Union Pacific might have gone through. I'm not sure how many of you guys are looking down the tracks as much as I am, but I think they did some pretty positive weed clearing, but it left a lot of residual litter that was, I guess, hiding underneath there. So that's something we're looking to address here soon, just from a making sure everything looks good out there. But otherwise, again, we're just dealing with things mostly on a case by case basis on the east side. As John noted, East Beach has really calmed down for us. I think it's just sort of seasonal with the wave action and the conditions. So that's been a positive. And aside from that, we still, occasionally are dealing with things as they pop up in, Chase Palm Park and the extension, and as those things sort of trickle back into different areas behind us there. But it's nothing out of the ordinary, and we're doing our best to get caught up and get back on top of it.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate all your team's efforts through the holidays. All right. Anything else while we're all together? Okay, so just a reminder, we will still meet 2 weeks from today, normal schedule. I'll send out, once I confirm the location, I'll send out the reminder for that following February 3rd meeting in person in the evening. And then please sign up for the point in time count. So, service providers, if you can stick around, that'd be great. Otherwise, have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.